as a cybersecurity analyst, you're going to be always you're going to be valued, yeah, and depending
Yeah.
on your skill sets, your experience, and all of those things, all of those things count when actually recruiting and when actually trying to know what the person is worth in the market.
Mm.
So depending on your skill sets, depending on your level of experience, eh, your pay also comes up with that.
But
It also
I'm
comes
still
up.
waiting for that. I'm still waiting for that range
Okay, still waiting for the
because I'm
range.
sure.
Okay, so
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that range.
if I'm going to give a range to it, let's say like someone coming into the cybersecurity role, yeah. It's going to
Yeah.
be let's call it in a financial institution. Your pay is going to be between the range of
So welcome, guys. My name is Emmanuel from SC CyberSafe. Today, I'm with a cybersecurity professional. I guess that's what I'll call him. And the person is a very tough cybersecurity professional. And today we'll be having some sort of questions and answer section, just so that we get or hear from someone that is in the cybersecurity field or cybersecurity profession. His name is Obinna Emmanuel. Which one do you prefer being called?
Obina is fine.
Okay. Oh, okay. So let's just give us a brief introduction about yourself. Yeah, let's start with that.
Right. Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Obina Chubilo, or you can call me Manuel. Yeah. So that's my middle name. So I grew up in Abuja before relocating to Lagos for work, and I schooled in Niger State. That's Federal University of Technology, Mina, Niger State. Studied cybersecurity in Federal University of Technology, and well, then moved over to Lagos for work. Currently working with Access Bank. Yeah, currently working with Access Bank as a threat intelligence and incident response officer. And well, for me personally, okay, yeah, hobbies, yeah. On my hobbies, I enjoy watching movies, going to live or what they call it, I enjoy live bands, yeah.
Wow,
And on a personal note, I enjoy arts as a whole. I love drawing. That's it.
wow. I never knew you studied cybersecurity. I always thought maybe computer science or something else. So where did you say you studied cybersecurity?
That's on Federal University of Technology, Mina.
Mina, wow. I think it's just all these like Foot Mina, Futa. I think those are like the. I don't know if Futo has cybersecurity as an undergraduate or master's level stuff, but I think those are the only all those Federal University of Technologies. I think those are the only people that sort of do cybersecurity as
Yeah,
a.
yeah. Actually, I don't even know how many universities are offering it as at now. But when I first applied for the course, it was just Mina that was offering cybersecurity in the whole of Nigeria then. So I don't know what it is now, but back then it was just Mina. So it's
Oh,
possible. It's possible that other universities have actually started
yeah.
incorporating their course outlines and all. But yeah.
It will be good though. So what made you because it's really surprising. The reason I was asking, like most people when like once they get you did cybersecurity as an undergraduate, right? Or was it a postgraduate
As an
program?
undergraduate, as an
Okay,
undergraduate.
because it's really surprising. I'm just trying to imagine the time when you did this course or when you decided to get into cybersecurity. At that time, people really didn't know what cybersecurity was. Like it was just people in the US and some of these other European countries. But here in Nigeria, I think at that time it was sort of a new field. So how did you know about cybersecurity in the first place, and what made you decide, oh, I would study cybersecurity, and how did you decide to study cybersecurity? What made you choose that path?
Okay. So just like you said, actually, it wasn't something that was well known before. So, growing up, I actually wanted to study computer engineering. So I've always been fascinated by computer as a whole, as a gamer, all of those things. So yeah, computer engineering, and when I was actually towards the period where I started applying to the universities, that was when I actually found out about cybersecurity. Now, I didn't actually know what cybersecurity was back then. However, I think I'd seen it in movies and everything, and I was just really interested in being able to hack. You know how fun it is to see how they carry out hacking in what they call it in the movies.
Yeah,
You see the bad guy, in 1 or 2 seconds, he has
yeah,
broken into many things. And by the time I was applying and I was like lucky to come across it, and I saw cybersecurity, I was like, wow, okay, I didn't even know we even had that here. And that was how I applied for cybersecurity. And that was how I got into cybersecurity. Yeah.
wow, I think that's amazing. For most people, or for me personally, I would say I just this almost the same way. I felt like I just need to know more about this cybersecurity. I watched this series, Mr. Robot. I think that was what really even made me sort of interested in. I don't know if you've seen that series,
Yeah.
but
Okay. So Mr. Robo was later on. That was, I
yeah,
think by then we've already started seeing the cybersecurity then. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
later
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So what actually brought me into, what actually exposed me to cybersecurity, if you could remember 24. So that was when I started finding out about cybersecurity and getting interested. So I know one of my favorite characters back in that movie was the cybersecurity analyst. Then I don't think I can remember the name, but yeah, that was that was how I actually found out about cybersecurity.
Wow. Okay, and so far I've seen that you are not sort of slowing down. You are doubling up. You are moving. I guess you are moving up the ladder. Very soon you I don't know where you want to get to. But at what point do you want to get to in cybersecurity? Do you feel like cybersecurity is something you would do long term, or you think for now let me just see, because I know there are lots of interesting IT parts. So, what do you see? Where do you see
So
yourself relating cybersecurity?
so when I got into IT, I got into IT cybersecurity. So it wasn't. Is that I don't think there is a fallback plan. Yeah, in that regard.
Yeah.
So it's just cybersecurity for me. And yeah, we just have to keep marching forward. It's a growing field. Yeah, there are new landscapes, there are new discoveries, and all of these things are what they call it, these are things we have to focus on. There are new things coming up, and the more the IT will develop, the more you need the security aspect of it and all. So, and in order to remain relevant in the field, you just have to keep developing itself. You just have to maintain your skill sets and to be able to play at that particular level.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really important. Okay, so there are different should I say pathways, different other sub uh, career paths in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not just broad. Like, I mean, cybersecurity is broad. It's not just one way stuff. Like, I will tell people that you will never see a uh, um, job post saying cybersecurity professional needed. You would see either maybe a cybersecurity analyst, or a penetration tester, or threat intelligence, or information security. Like, they will always specify who they need. So, what would you say? And there is the GRC part of cybersecurity. There's the red team. There's the blue team. Where would you classify yourself under? And why did you choose that path of cybersecurity? Why didn't you choose either maybe the red team or the blue team or the GRC? Why did you choose the specific one you are currently doing? And what is it that you're doing?
Okay. All right. So personally, yeah, I would have. If you asked me, I would say I'm for the red teaming. Yeah. And
Okay.
basically, what the red teaming means is, analyzing complex systems, finding out vulnerabilities, finding out, loopholes, finding ways to bypass the security and what they call it, infrastructure, the things, the tools, the softwares, the programs you put in place in order to secure your infrastructure. So the red team, it's all about breaking through and finding loopholes in all of these things. However, given my work and the things I've had to do that's throughout my career so far, I would actually say it's purple teaming for me. Yeah. So
Okay.
purple teaming, that's basically, combining both the red team and the blue team in order to like improve the overall security posture of, the organization I work with. So it's purple teaming for me. I do a little bit of the red teaming, but for the blue teaming, kind of make recommendations and find ways to better improve what we have on ground. It's not just about penetrating and breaking the system every time. We have to contribute to actually building up the security infrastructure.
Yeah, so you sort of have a should I say a job title. So what's the job title and what's your everyday life in cybersecurity? Because like for me or some other people that are in cybersecurity, some people think it's all about maybe trying to hack something or trying to just investigate stuff. But sometimes it could just be there could be some days where all you do is just send emails for or have meetings from morning to till night or till evening. You have meetings, you send emails. You really might not do anything technical as someone that is in a purple team. Even though some days you get to do that. So what's your everyday life like in when you get to work?
Okay, so currently, yeah, the team I'm working with is the threat intelligence. It's called the threat intelligence team, and incident response. So it's kind of like two roles into one. And what that entails is, threat intelligence that's actually finding threats basically as it
Yeah,
affects and impacts the organization in the cyberspace as it is. So if you ask what my daily life looks like, it's you come into work, um, interested enough, yeah, you see it is almost right in front of the big screens displaying threat news
okay.
from various platforms and from various CTIs. So it kind of like take a minute or two to actually look through the news, look through what is happening all over the world, identify like things that could actually impact your organization. Now that's one part of it. Then the next thing is to, I already have that's threat intelligence platforms that I subscribe to, and I go to those other platforms, go through them and look at what exactly is happening all over the world. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. Look at what is happening in Africa, and look at what is happening in the banking industry or the financial industry. Or, basically, you're just sourcing for threats intel, and so that you'll be able to like react or carry out proactive measures before it gets to you. So that's one part of my job, yeah. And threat intelligence. Now that's the threat hunting part, the threat gathering part rather. But
Yeah.
regardless, we still have to, find the threats within the organization. So also, and that will involve a little bit of, vulnerability assessment, network access control, we do a lot of
Yeah.
things just to minimize the threat. So any action I'm going to be taking throughout the day, it's based on minimizing the threat level within the organization. I know. Then the other part of my job description, yeah, the incident response that comes in once in a while when there is an incident and they need people to like respond, the first responders. Yeah. So that's what it looks like for me daily. Of course, you have to send a lot of mails for all of these things. Yeah. So you come in the morning and As you're identifying these stuffs, you're sending out the mails, you're identifying vulnerabilities, you're sending out the mails, you're identifying one loophole, you're sending out the mails, and yeah. So it's a corporate job also. It's not all just fun hacking and all of
Yeah.
that.
Okay, yeah, I think that would clear a lot of things for those that are trying to like see what is it like. So okay, what do you get to work remotely for some days, or do you work on site all through?
Yeah, we get to work remotely. However, you just have to keep in mind that it's a security job, and um, some of the access you need to carry out your job. That's where you carry. There are some things that will require you to be on site, and it's a security job. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they could wake you up anytime. We
yeah.
need you to do this and we
To
need you to
respond
do
to.
that. So it's 247. The bad guys don't sleep, so you don't get to sleep with your both eyes closed. So we work remotely. We work remotely. I think based on the policies we have right now, you either work from locations close to you or you work from your home, depending on the kind of agreement you have with your supervisors and
Yeah,
all. So there's remote work. So it's kind of it's so basically it's hybrid rather. It's hybrid,
yeah,
not
hybrid.
completely, not completely
Okay,
remote.
okay. So I know there are different people that sort of interface with you in terms of your work when you work. Like we have those that are maybe network engineers or network and security. We have sysadmin. We have like there are some other roles or people that work with you. So what would you say the handshake is like for the cybersecurity professionals and those other people
Okay, so
to
it's it's one thing if you want to put the handshake, you come in and you say it's going to be a handshake after the thoughts or after the project. So
yeah,
what we've done in the organization is to ensure that we've incorporated security in all of these aspects you've mentioned, be it software design, be it software development, programming, the networks, the IT infrastructure, the IT design, deployment. I don't know. So you name it. Yeah, sysadmin, network engineering, everything. Security has to be in it. And it doesn't just stop with the IT, basically. It expands past the IT guys. The way users access their device, the way they use the device, when, and all of these things, you have to incorporate security into it. So it's not
yeah,
just a matter of a handshake at one point. So it's more or less a process. So security and IT. Let's say for example, we have our software developers. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's not just about them developing and we coming back later to carry out security checks to make sure what they've done it's okay. It's rather incorporated throughout the process. So as the developer, we are already telling you if you're going to do something for us, you have to make sure you're secure using secure codes. The other what they call it components, your jQuery, your Bootstrap, you make sure you're using the best versions, at least the latest versions, if stable, so that to avoid using older versions with known vulnerability. So it starts from the scratch. It's not something that happens at the end or at the middle. It's incorporated.
mm,
It's throughout the process from the beginning to the end.
okay. Uh, so another interesting thing is that it seems like as someone who is in the cybersecurity field, you might need to know how to use certain tools or certain solutions. So, what are the type of solutions that you get to use day to day? Like, do you use IDS? What type of maybe you don't need to be specific, but do you use IDS? Do you use antivirus solutions? Most for someone that wants to get into this field, how do they um, get to master those tools? Like for people, some people want to know how to use Sims and some of these other solutions. So how do they lay their hands on some of those things and master it so that if they want to get a job in cybersecurity, at least they would have that sort of hands-on experience on some of those tools?
Okay, so It's interesting you mentioned tools. Yeah. So, but I would like to say I work with quite a number of tools. However, if I'm going to leave the organization I'm in today and go to another organization tomorrow, I'm almost certain that if I'm using 10 tools today, if the next organization I'm going to go to, I'm almost certain I won't be using up to three of the same tools in that
Yeah, it's,
organization. So I'm going to say not to focus on the tools itself, yeah, more or
okay,
less what they do, to understand
okay,
what they do. Yeah, so of course it's good to have ideas and experience with these tools as time goes on. But for someone coming into cybersecurity, it's best for you to know what they do and how they do it and why they do it and why you need the tool. Yeah. So if you're talking about an antivirus solution, you have to know why you need an antivirus solution and what an antivirus solution actually accomplish for you. And the good thing is the base points for all of these solutions. So regardless of which antivirus solution, regardless of which SIM solution that's being used, we know what it's supposed to do. So if you're going to be learning about cybersecurity and you're learning about SIM, you shouldn't just be focusing on a particular kind of SIM. Uh, Basically, it's for you to know what a SIM solution is supposed to do and how it
okay,
works. Because I bet you, if you go from one organization to another, you're going to find out that they use completely
yeah,
different. Very few organizations use the same tools, the
same,
same
yeah.
tools. So yeah,
So
so yeah, you learn about tools, but most importantly, learn about what the tools are used for, what they do, and how they do it.
okay, that's really interesting because it seems like did they call it Wazo or something? It seems like you're an expert in using that solution. or or
Okay, yeah. That's a SIM and XDR solution. It's an open source solution actually.
yeah,
So it's very good. It's a very good this piece of software. And thankfully, yeah, it's open source, which means you as a person you could just set it in your own private system. If you really want to learn
okay,
about SIM and all of that, you could actually do it in your own private system. You set it up and you get to know what a SIM looks like and how it functions. Yeah.
okay. So what's your take on cybersecurity certifications? I know this is sort of random, but what do you think about cybersecurity certifications? Do you think it's if maybe Access Bank, for example, is to hire? Do you think certifications are what they are looking for, or they sort of, or they have a way where they test your skills as someone who is a cybersecurity professional, or as someone who they want to hire as a pen tester or a malware analyst or something like that? Do they look at, oh, you have these certifications, or do they sort of test your skills before getting you employed? So
Okay,
what do you
so
think is
it has always been a question about certifications and skill. It's not
yeah,
just for cybersecurity, even in IT. It has always been a question about certifications and skill. But I'm going to the way I always like to explain it is you have an ID card, yeah? If you have an ID
yeah,
card, if I'm going to know anything about you, I'm going to look at that ID card first of all. Yeah, it's going to contain basic information about you. But of course, there is more to you than what is on the ID card. And before I'm able to say, okay, let me find out more about this person, I'm going to have to first of all look at the ID card. So that's where certifications comes in. If I'm going to be looking for a penetration tester, yeah, what it means is at the first look, I want to see that yeah, you have the certifications for penetration testing. You've done some things like CH, offensive security. You've done something that shows that yes, this person can actually is a penetration tester. He has the
tester.
experience and he has the skill set. Now that's one thing. I know you have the certifications, and of course, for any organization that is hiring, depending on their own recruitment process, they know how they actually, validate the skill sets behind these certifications. It may be just a simple conversation. Yeah, you can hold a conversation with someone you're interviewing, and you'll be able
Yeah.
to like tell what the person has done, and the skill level of this person based on the conversation you've held, like some kind of questions you throw at the person and how they are able to respond. And some organizations may actually go as far as trying to see what tools and how you use what tools, and if possible, I
Yeah.
don't know, I've not seen it, but I
Yeah.
think maybe somebody's going to also probably want to set up a lab and actually see you bring away tools.
That
But
would be
depending,
that would be extreme.
that would be extreme. But yeah, so you need the certifications because, like I said, your ID, it's there with you, so we know that this is what this person is doing. This is what this person is good at, and as time goes on, I think your employer will want to like see actually put the skill sets behind those certifications into the job that you do.
Okay, thank you. So I'm sure this next question is something most people that are trying to get into cybersecurity would love to know because as if you go online now, what you would see is so many trainings on cybersecurity. I even have some trainings also that I do, although it's just just something basic. But there are so many trainings out there, so many training institutions, so many universities are sort of looking for cybersecurity trainers. And when you see most of these people that are trying to get into cybersecurity, it's because they've watched lots of YouTube videos and they've seen maybe Americans and some of these other people in the first world countries say something like in cybersecurity or as a cybersecurity analyst, I earn about $150,000 in a year, and some of them call different salary ranges, but it's always really good. So people feel, oh, cybersecurity is a very lucrative field. So what can you say about that? What's like the salary range, or what do you think the salary structure is like for cybersecurity professionals in comparison to other IT roles?
Okay, it's quite a wild question if you're going to be asking me for the salary range. Yeah, because a lot of thoughts have been put into these things
Yeah,
before any organization attached a particular amounts to a particular role in cybersecurity. Now, depending on the organization, yeah, depending on the organization, there is what they call it, the risks associated with that organization. Now, in,
yeah,
I'm going to give you an example. Yeah, in banking roles, yeah, if you're in banking
yeah.
industries, they value the cybersecurity profession. Yeah, they value the cybersecurity profession, which means they pay more for the cybersecurity analyst. And
Mm.
let's take that down to I don't know, okay, I don't know what other what they call it, industry I'm going to look at. But there are some industries where the cybersecurity role it's a bit smaller, and it's more or
Yeah.
less what exactly is the risks attached. So the value I'm going to give to a cybersecurity analyst that is working, let's say, a transportation company, yeah, a transportation company. Now, depending on the kind of service the transportation company is providing, it's probably going to be lesser than what a financial organization is going to give. But that
Yeah.
does not take away from the fact that the role itself is that cybersecurity. It's as a cybersecurity analyst, you're going to be valued, yeah, and depending on your skill sets, your experience, and all of those things, all of those things count when actually recruiting and when actually trying to know what the person is worth in the market.
Mm.
So depending on your skill sets, depending on your level of experience, eh, your pay also comes up with that.
But
It
I'm
also
still I'm
comes
still
up.
waiting for that. I'm still waiting for that range
Okay, still waiting for the
because I'm
range.
sure.
So,
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that
um,
range.
If I'm going to give a range to it, let's say the point like someone coming into the cybersecurity role, yeah.
Ye-
It's going to
Yeah.
be let's call it in a financial institution. Your pay is going to be between the range of 200 to what do you call it, to 450,000. That's in naira now. 200,000 to 450,000 naira. Now, depending on the role and depending
Okay.
on, like I said, the organization. Depending on the
Yeah.
organization, this is one entry level, yeah. And as times goes on, it keeps going up. And
It
believe
keeps
me,
going up.
I don't think there is a limit. There is a limit
Mm.
to how much a cybersecurity personnel can be paid. Uh, what will I say? An organization that has been hit before, probably
Yeah.
been hacked or have their files stolen or a
Mhm.
ransomware and their systems are hijacked. I want to assure you that that organization will be ready to pay any and every amount as long as they get someone that's going to promise them that such an event is not going to happen again. So there is no limit
Yeah.
to how much it's going to they pay a cybersecurity professional. But like I said, for the entry level, between 200 to 150,000 for entry level.
Okay, I think that's so many people will be happy with that amount for entry level. I'm assuming it might be because I worked in a bank before I got to where I was working before, so I think uh, I think it also now depends on the bank also, and it depends on the bank also because some banks it depends on their capacity. It depends on the systems they have to protect. It depends on their assets and
Yeah,
everything. So there are
the
a lot of
risks,
things
like I
that
said, the risks.
yeah that goes in determining what someone should earn. Well, I think that's fair. That's a fair answer to the question. So there was something that I saw online that made me laugh, and I'm sure you saw it also. Or even though I laughed at this stuff, okay, let me just say it. So I saw a job description that said, I think cybersecurity engineer needed or analyst. I can't remember the cybersecurity role, and then and then they put the pay at 150K, and I'm sure you laughed. You laughed at it. You laughed at it.
Yeah.
I want to know. Also, I laughed at it also, but I sort of have my reason why I laughed, and I'll tell you what I feel about that pay. So, what did you think about it when you saw the pay of 150K for a cybersecurity engineer or analyst, and the the roles that I mean the person's JD, the list of things that the person ought to know and the skills the person ought to have was listed there, and they put it at they pegged it at 150K. So, what did you think about that? Is this something you would have taken maybe if you had not, maybe if you're not working with Access Bank, or if you're someone that is getting started into cybersecurity? Or what did you just think in
Yeah.
general?
Well, if I'm going to go by what we saw, yes.
Yeah,
If I'm going to go by the job advert you're speaking about, I
yeah,
think what we saw in that job advert was they actually said they needed someone that has CH and, if possible, CISP. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that for those two requirements, those two certification, if you're going to pay that person 150,000 every month, at the end of the year, that the annual salary for that person is barely going to be able to cover for one of those certifications.
yeah.
It's barely going to be able to cover for one of those certifications. For the second certification, I don't even think it's even going to cover for the second certification as it is currently. Now, um, looking at that job description, like you mentioned, if it's going to be for an entry level role, yes, for an entry level role, depending on the company, it's something that can be appreciated. You can the person is just coming in, you're just starting.
Yeah.
It's a place for you to gain experience. I'm not going to lie. It's something you're going to use to gain experience. But like I said, for someone that is just entering into cybersecurity,
Mm.
not an experienced person,
Yeah.
yeah, not
Yeah.
an experienced person, because the longer you stay in that's the cybersecurity industry, the more skills you acquire and the more experience you acquire, it actually adds up to your value. It actually adds up to
Mm.
your value. And I don't think anybody that has CH or has CISP is going to accept to be paid 150K a month. And I don't think what they call it, the role itself, cybersecurity. You know, you always read about it, and you always find
Yeah.
out that you keep seeing. I don't know if you go to the internet to search, they tell you cybersecurity is one of the most needed, what they call it,
Yeah.
job listing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but what
Position.
it's if people, it's not as though the what they call it, the job is waiting for you there. It's not just waiting for
Mm.
you there. You have to be able to mash up to what's needed. You
Yeah.
have to be able to match up to what's needed, which means you have to have those the required skill sets. And
Skills.
I believe that with someone that has a CISP and a CH, is going to be picked up by a bigger organization that is going to be willing to pay him what he's actually worth. That's why we
Yeah.
always say that yeah, cybersecurity is needed everywhere. So
Yeah.
what you pay for a cybersecurity analyst, depending on your company, I'm going to say, and depending on the person, you probably may be even selling your company at this point. The person you're bringing to secure you now is probably the person that is going to be hacking you.
So there is
Exactly.
insider
So you have
trust.
to be careful at this point. Yeah.
So
150K
I
is good for someone starting, but nah, not for an
because
experienced one.
I feel like even when you settle for that amount, then you will surely, because the way Nigerian jobs are, it's not just what's on your JD that you will do. You will surely do extra.
Of
And
course, it's not just on your JD you're going to do. So that person is not going to be ready to
yeah,
give you 100%. The person will be ready to give
exactly.
you
So
100%. So
yeah, so at the
anything
point,
you see, take it.
the person will surely get disgruntled because I mean, you're paid 150 and then you're
Yeah, I
doing
tell you,
more
the
than
worst thing
I
you
mean,
can
it's
have in an organization is a disgruntled employee. It's
yeah,
very terrible. So anybody that's planning on hiring a cybersecurity analyst with all of those JD and those cyber certifications, and you actually get someone presenting all those certifications to you. I'm
and the
sorry,
person,
you've sold your
I'm telling
company.
you, they're supposed to be scared. Like
You're supposed to be
if
scared.
they
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
see
you're supposed to
someone,
be
if
scared.
they see someone stepping in with CISSP, CEH, and the person
Yeah,
is settling for, just so that there's something like
there's something
why
else.
why
There's
would you
something
say?
else.
So I think, but in general, though, I think when at the start of my career, if I saw that, maybe even if I don't have, like I always tell people, even if you see all those things, if they tell you CEH is compulsory, CISSP is compulsory, or they will not tell you it's compulsory, they'll say it's an added advantage or it's a plus. So even if they put it there, and if I had seen that job stuff when I was starting, perhaps as an entry role, or maybe transitioning from maybe a different IT field to cybersecurity, and I don't have any of those other certifications. Maybe I don't even have any certification, or I have just one, maybe Sec Plus or ISC Square CC. I would have still gone for. I would still try to apply for the job role because if I know I have the skills or the knowledge necessary to carry out the job role, I really don't care that they stated those certifications there. I would still apply, and then let's see if they will employ me or if they will wait for someone with CISSP.
I actually doubt someone in CISP will apply for that role. So yeah, you probably have a chance to get the role.
Yeah,
You
so
apply.
I think after this our call, I'll go and check if they still have that position up, like if it's
Opening.
still there, because I assume by now it shouldn't. If people were interested in the stuff, they would have taken it off the platform or the advertising platform or LinkedIn, because
Yeah.
it was on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, do you have any advice for cybersecurity enthusiasts or beginners, people that are trying to get into the field, what didn't you know when you got started that sort of made things a bit difficult for you? So what would you add? How would you advise them to get started? How would you advise them to get their first job? Or so what would you tell them in general about cybersecurity?
Okay. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell them is the field you've picked, that cybersecurity itself, it's quite an interesting field, and it's a growing field, and there are many aspects to it. There are many aspects to it. So you could focus on, there are various things, there are various paths you could take as a cybersecurity professional. Yeah. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to like sit back and look at it in as a whole and pick out what particular path you want to choose, and it's what you want to take, and it's going to really like help you. It's going to
Yeah,
really help you going forward. So let's take for example, yeah, if you want to become like you just want to carry out hacking, yeah, you enjoy hacking. Now you can pick that and know that okay, I'm taking the route of what's being a penetration tester, a red teamer, and you know how to like strategize and get what do you call it, courses and trainings to grow in that particular part. So if I'm going to give my number one advice, it's going to be try to figure out what role you want to take,
you want to.
and if possible, get a mentor. Yeah, someone that's going to help you in navigating this wide range of things, because it could be a lot. And the next thing I'm going to say is it's I think it's one of the things that always happen to me sometimes when I sit back and I'm like, wow, man, I should, there's a lot to do, which means
Yeah,
it's, it's, it's evolving. It keeps
yeah,
evolving. Well, 6 months ago, in a year time, or you've learned 6 months ago in a year time, may not be relevant anymore. Not really not relevant, but new technologies
yeah,
are out, and you have to like keep developing yourself. So you have to be ready. You have to be really ready to learn, to keep learning. It doesn't stop. As a cybersecurity professional, it's one thing that will never stop. You keep learning until the very end. There is no cap. Yeah, you can't say, I've done this, I've
yeah,
done this, I've done that, and you close the book. I'm sorry. If you've done this, you've done that, and you've done this. If you close the book in 3, 4 years' time, they'll also close the book on you, because what it means is the skills you've acquired previously, all of those skills are probably no longer suitable for the technologies and the trends that
yeah.
people are currently facing in the cybersecurity space. And all. So, first thing, figure out which path you want to take. Get a mentor if you're able to get a mentor, and be ready to actually learn. Be ready to learn, and the moment you can get these two things, or like call it three things done, you find yourself in a place where your skills and yourself, you're going to be valued. You're going to be valued, and you find out that you're needed in any certain space, or in any
Yeah.
certain environment. You get to see yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm looking for a mentor. Maybe you'll be my you'll be my mentor. I, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah, it's possible now. It's possible. We are all learning, and that's the
So
truth.
you
We are all learning,
so you'll
and
be my mentor. So you'll be my
you can't.
mentor.
It's not just one person. You don't just learn from one person. From anybody, you can learn from
Yeah.
anybody at all. Yeah. So yeah, so you could also be my mentor too. At the same time,
No,
we both mentor each other.
no, I'm, I'm not in your level, so I can't be your mentor yet. So when I reach a level, then I'll mentor someone else. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. I think we're able to cover a lot of things and maybe answer some of the questions that will be in the minds of people that are trying to explore this whole cybersecurity field. And what me I would just say is, from my own experience, cybersecurity, it could be tough because you could get into it and then you could find out that maybe it's not something that you really want to do, especially when because cybersecurity, you have to keep learning. If you're not that type of person that likes learning every day or learning new things, or maybe listening to the news on what's trending, if you're not that type of person that follows up on things like that, then it will be easy to struggle in the field of cybersecurity. And yeah, I think in general, cybersecurity is it's an interesting career path.